Yumi, let's start with you. This is the third year of this event. Are we running out of things to roast, or does feminism just keep giving in 2026?
Oh my God, look, feminism is an active beast that we all love and we all look at askance at times. But the thing about that is that the environment around it is constantly changing, and we're having to change to match our environment or meet our challenges.
So where do we see it in 2026? And I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the world just this week, let alone the last 12 months.
Yeah, I've been listening to your podcast, Taylor. It's freaking stressful, man.
Sorry. I do apologise, but it is essential that we give people the news.
Yep.
We try and do it in the least scary way possible. I don't need to sell you because you've already listened to it. What do you think of feminism in 2026? What are our biggest challenges? Where's the state of it currently?
Look, the challenge, I think, is staying alive and keeping our planet viable for future generations. So that's pretty massive. But I think on a more granular, close to home scale, it's about forming community. I really believe in that. And I think that's where the solution lies for a lot of our woes at the moment is like, yes, we are run by out of control billionaire gangsters. So what can we do to survive in the face of that? And for the most part, it is stick together, form coalitions, get tough, get angry.
I love that. Steph, due to Cyclone Alfred, you were actually unable to make the roast last year.
Yes,
Do you consider that an act of sexism?
I do, yes. And it was Alfred who stopped me, and I think we need to remember that. That was a man who got in the way of me doing good things for womankind. And when has that not been the case? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
So tell me, what's your take on feminism in 2026 then?
I think that the biggest issue that we have in the world right now, apart from the actual the major things that we all know, is the weird divisiveness that happens as a result of people responding to the scary things. And I think people push to their polar, they go to extreme sides. And I think we do that as a way to get a level of safety. So I think that the problem is that the people who maybe were being more quiet about their anti-feminist rhetoric are now a lot louder and also feel a lot more emboldened to speak loudly and with evil in their spaces. And so I think that you're exactly right, Yumi. The solve is community. You make that other side very, very loud as well. And you kind of, I don't even know, at what point do you combat? I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you
we're
meet
picking
in
up
the
what you're
middle
putting
or
down.
Yeah.
Well, I think that a comedy roast is kind of a nice entry point. Like, a lot of people will be hesitant to laugh at feminism, especially when we've spent so much time trying to defend and claw back at it.
Yeah.
So where's the line? Like, when does it go from roast to attacking? Are there things that you won't touch?
I think it's such a clever, like, I've done this event before and I loved it because I think something that makes us all the best that we can be is also pulling apart the things that, I'm just trying to think of how to word this properly, sorry, excuse me. You know, like, if you go, okay, I've done a really good job of X, Y, Z, well, is good what you want to achieve, or do you want to make sure that you're making it better and adaptable? And the best way to make it better and adaptable is looking at it, pulling it apart, making fun of the bits that really probably need some reining in. And that's exactly what the roast is for. That's why it's so good.
I think as well, like, for a lot of people, they see the word feminism or they see, like, feminist icon or whatever, and they go, oh, yeah, all right, like, you burned your bra, like, all right, we get it.
Yeah.
Stop shouting into the void.
Yeah.
So being able to claw that back, though, it feels like that's quite important. Do the women in the room respond as like, oh, thank God, we can finally call out the part that is actually, you know, the downfall?
100%. And it's like, because it's satire, right? So the last time that I did it, it was amazing. At what point do you kind of undermine the points of feminism just to attached to that kind of subservient woman? Like, it was really, really, really interesting. And it's like finding where those edges are.
And what I've found from years past is the audience really wants to participate.
Okay.
So if you can get them pissed off and they start shouting, or if you can get them angry and they start roaring back at you, or if they're just laughing, clapping, crying, that whole thing becomes very galvanizing for everybody in the room, where you're like, we're not alone.
Yumi, we've been looking at acts of micro-feminism here, and it's hard to do that when you work in an office full of women because we're all kind of vying for the same end goal.
Yep.
But I want to talk to you about macro-feminism. What do you see as an act of macro-feminism?
Oh, macro, does that mean bigger?
Yeah. Like not just CCing and addressing the woman on an email first. Something more out in the world.
We had to write a song for work about the 12 days of Christmas, on the first day of Christmas, make sure you but what would be like, what would you want? Yeah. And I was given 7 days of Christmas. So it was like, what would you like? And at first I was like, I want $7 million. And then I was like, actually, no, I want 7 abortions. Well, I want access to 7 or 70 if I should so need, because there's something very funny and tricky about that word, but it is inherently feminist to make birth control available to people who need it, to make it free, to make it without gatekeepers. And so that felt very like subversive, but also factual. Like this is what I would wish for every child, every young woman and every fertile adult.
Absolutely.
I find it so interesting whenever we talk about feminism or women and women's rights and equality, the things that people find so groundbreaking are just quite plain and simple. Like, for instance, putting like contraceptive pills on the PBS, putting menopause medication on the PBS, which I think they added a new one for the first time in 20 years last year, which feels insane.
Yeah.
These things don't actually seem like they're going to explode the world, and yet when they come in, we're like, oh my God, wow.
Yeah.
The other part of that is I love when people say to women like, well, how do you do it all? How do you have a child and a career and all these things? And they think that that's a really hard and groundbreaking question. Steph, I want to know from you, what do you actually think is the hardest question for women right now? Because it's not how do you do it all, because you just do it.
Yeah.
You operate in the world where you have to do it all. So what should we actually be asking women?
I think the thing that we should be asking women is, are you okay?
Why?
You do it all right. You know what I mean? Like I'm, and you'll go through this as well, Yumi. Like being a profiled woman is so hard, because sometimes I feel like I'm not even doing the same job as my male peers. You're not, yeah, because the amount of hate or the amount of judgment or pressure that I think that we are exposed to is very different to men. And I think I just think are you doing all right? Are you making enough time for you? Like that's the stuff.
Are you doing all right?
Oh, no, I am.
She said, eyes welling with tears,
Yeah.
nodding furiously. Yeah, I'm doing great. Taylor, why are you asking me these questions?
Why not look okay?
Can I answer that too? Because a question I would like to be asked regularly, 3 times a day if possible, is how can I help you?
Yeah.
What can I do to take shit off your plate? Because, bitch, you're busy.
Yeah.
That would be extremely helpful. I feel like we're all sort of scrambling for fewer and fewer resources. It's like times are getting leaner for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know many people who are like, I'm better off now than I was 5 years ago.
Sure.
Most of us, the belt is tightening, the screws are screwing down on us. So it's about how we can show up for each other.
This morning I sat down at my desk and our producer Grace, who was through the window, the first thing she said to me is, how can I help you today?
Oh my God.
Stop it, Grace.
Give me a job, Grace.
To which then I replied with, how can I help you today?
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
And then we've just been ping-ponging back and forth of like, well, what do you need? Well, what do you need? Okay, talk to me a little bit more about this event. I have already covered off all the incredible people who will be joining you on the panel, but Steph, like, what's the point? Why do we do a comedy roast around International Women's Day? Who's it for? What's the aim?
I think it's just, you got to make people laugh. People need to be laughing. And it is inherently, at its core, it's funny. I also think it's really educational. I had a chat with my auntie just a couple of weeks ago, and she must be in her 70s. And she was saying to me, when I remember when I was growing up, I was really embarrassed about the burning the bras movement was happening while I was young. And she was like, I was embarrassed. I went, shut up, you're making it hard for all of us, and she said, but now I go, God, I'm so grateful for all of that. And every time that we get opportunities to be and to speak and to kind of even just, I think there's power in going, okay, this movement isn't perfect, and you need to kind of say that as well. That empowers the movement more, right?
Yeah.
Is going, I don't believe that this is the final product, or it's not without flaws. Like that's kind of the whole point, is you go, we are also able to fine tune and to make things better. And that's exciting for people like my auntie, who was like, I just wish that I had known that just because it was hard for us didn't mean it was doing good things, and then going, and there's still things that we can do to change it, because the people who set it up, you know, like, I mean, obviously, I mean, Germaine Greer, I mean,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Like, kind of, we've learnt a lot about her as things have gone on, and you kind of go, yeah, we do need to be looking at the sides of it all, you know?
Yeah. I think, Yumi, I kind of attach the concept and the movement of feminism to that wonderful Brené Brown quote, which is imperfect people leading imperfect people. And that kind of, I think, is almost a bit similar to what you were just saying there, Steph.
Yeah,
of, like,
in the least
summing it up.
succinct way that I was talking, sorry.
I like the story. I'm here for the story.
Yeah, look, I think the minute we start aiming for perfection, we're going to be screwed. We need to have like some bounce in the boundaries of what we're trying to achieve.
And a laugh.
Yeah,
as well.
Absolutely alive.
100%.
Okay. I hope you end the show with asking everyone if they're okay and what they would need help with.
And if they'd like a strong cup of tea.
They'd like a strong cup of tea.
And a cuddle.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.